Thanks for hopping on here today. Zach Boyer with 13 West here. We are your local sales reps for Sonic Patch, among some other brands in the 13 Western states. So appreciate you guys registering and hopping on. We'll give it just a couple minutes here, maybe a minute. Let everyone hop on who's going to hop on. I see people joining now, so bear with us about 30 seconds and we'll get going. I'm going to put in the chat here just to see if you guys hear me. I want to make sure we're all good. Maybe someone can give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me okay and see me okay. All right. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, Delbert. Okay, I think we're good to go. So this call, it can be as short or as long as we want it, depending on how many chat questions and things that we've got. It's the first of hopefully a webinar series from 13 West. Again, we represent a handful of companies in the 13 Western states. You can find out more about us at 13west.com. We've got updated catalogs on there. We've got a rep locator. I'm sure you know who your rep is, but if you don't, you're new to us, go on there, find your region, and shoot your rep a note. We've also got a dealer dashboard that's it's new and we're still building out, but we're pretty excited about it. We're going to house custom price lists, programs, sales sheets, some dealer specific videos that we don't want on YouTube and for public consumption because we talk about pricing and different things. We're going to house those on the dealer dashboard. So go on 13west.com, click on, I think it's the link is dealers or register in the upper right hand corner. Fill out that form and we'll set you up with a login and we'll continue to build that out over time. There's also a blog on there with updates and things like that. But the first webinar we wanted to do, I thought would be good is Sonic Patch. Patches are a really popular decoration method, obviously on hats and bags and other things. And there's a bunch of different suppliers out there. And I think there's a couple, Sonic Patch being one of them, that do a really good job and support the ASI and PPAI and team sports industries and things. And so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to talk about them and talk through the different basics of patches. So if you are new to patches, don't know how to sell patches quite yet, we'll talk through those basics. If you're a patch veteran, we should have a couple of things here and there that maybe you didn't know. And then at the end, if you make it through to the end, should only be about 20 minutes, half hour. I'm going to do a demo. So over here, and then I've got a separate camera I've got set up here. We've got our Hotronix 360 IQ hat press that we have set up. It's hot and ready to go. We've got some patches, got a couple hats, and we'll press them on the fly and see how we do. So without further ado, I'm going to switch around my cameras here and just bear with me as I am new to this. But we should be good. We should have our deck here on the right, my camera here on the left, and we're going to scroll through this thing. So to start, I'm going to put out here a question or a poll. Have you sold patches before? So that should pop up there on the right. As you guys have questions and different things, please don't hesitate to chat them in. I'll do my best to monitor the chat. So go ahead and check out that. And then I'm also, while we're doing this, I'm going to enable here our free patch and pin selling kit. So this should show up here on the right-hand side where you would chat in questions and things. Go to 13west.com/promotions, enter that referral code webinar if you remember. Otherwise, I'll we'll figure it out. But put in your info, and we're going to mail you swatch cards featuring all the different patch types we talk about here today. Should give you some ammo to go out and sell patches. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get started. So Sonic Patch and Pin is, again, a manufacturer of a bunch of different types. So they are based in Arizona. They have customer service both in Seattle, their old headquarters, and in Phoenix, their new headquarters. And their mantra is, we make ordering easy. So they do that by making doing business really simple. So everything is going to go to service@sonicpatch.com. I encourage you to copy your sales rep, whether it be me or somebody else, just so we have some eyes on it and it can jump in if need be. But I know me, I like to quote things on the spot. And by the time I pull out my price list and go to write back my customer, Sonic has already gone ahead and done that and gotten back to you with a really detailed quote. So send everything to service@sonicpatch.com. They'll get you a quote right there on the spot. They issue art proofs the very next business day. So they send it to their in-house art department that is offshore, but it is their own people. So they work while we sleep. You'll have an art proof in your inbox the next day. Standard turn times are 3 weeks, 3 weeks delivered with a standard $20 flat rate shipping. No matter the size of the order, $20 delivered in 3 weeks. For the majority of the time of the year and the majority of patch types, it does change depending on Chinese New Year and how the factories are doing in terms of capacity. We do offer a 2-week rush where we will deliver your order in 2 weeks. And instead of a $20 flat freight fee, it is a $50 flat freight fee. We feature low minimums, which I'll talk to about on each patch type. Super premium quality. So I hope that some of the patches I show on camera come through. They probably won't, but I've got some scans I can send you if you want, as well as the samples that I'm going to be sending you guys. But the quality is really second to none because it's all done on raw goods offshore at our premium facility. You'll see that the quality is just it's great. And then there's no setup fees. So no matter if you send in vector art or you send in a drawing on a napkin, we're not going to charge you. Obviously, the better the art, the better we can replicate your art in a printable format, but no setups of any kind. And with Sonic, I mentioned at the top, but there's a lot of different patch manufacturers out there. Some are done overseas, some are stateside, some are they're in their garage or their warehouse. Sonic is really a buttoned up provider that you can partner with for your patches. They are ASI and PPAI. They're at the trade shows. They're at the buying group trade shows, from athletic buying groups to PPAI and Impressions Long Beach to the tabletop shows that 13 West exhibits at. They invest in people like me and 13 West and outside sales reps to provide professional representation to them. That does cost money, and they invest in resources to help better the customer experience. And so I think that's worth saying, is that these guys are in a field that there's a lot of different people coming at you with a lot of different things. Sonic is one that you can really lean on as a partner. With most of these patch types, they're going to come with 2 or 3 different backing or border options. The most popular or the classic border option is going to be your Marrow Edge. And I don't know if it's going to come through on camera here, but your Marrow Edge is going to be your raised up border. So it's got about an 1/8 inch raised up woven border around all sides of the patch. It continues on around to the back of the patch. And that's going to be your traditional look. It's mostly used or limited to geometric shapes. It's tough to do this on certain laser cut shapes or intricate designs because of the thickness of that border. But that's going to be your traditional border option. One concern that some people have is about heat applying a marrowed edge patch because it is pretty thick. But with Sonic Patch, we actually extend that glue all the way to underneath that marrow edge. So don't worry about pressing down a marrow edge patch. It'll press down just fine because of that glue backing that extends all the way through the marrowed edge. Then we've got a satin stitched border. So a satin stitch border is going to be an embroidered edge that kind of mimics the border of a marrowed edge, but it is just kind of a embroidered half seam there. So you can see it does not extend all the way to the back. It's just on the front there. The advantage here is it with maybe some other suppliers, maybe they would say it presses a little bit easier if you didn't have the glue backing that went all the way to the edge on the marrow patch like we do, but that's not necessarily a concern with us. It also it's popular on badges and different things. I think it just provides a kind of a popular look, but also you can get non-geometric shapes. So like this one in the middle on the deck, you can see it's got different ridges and corners and points. That's something that is maybe best for a satin stitch edge. That would maybe work a little bit better versus a marrow edge. And then you've got the laser cut. So this has got no edging whatsoever. It's just laser cut. So it's edge to edge woven patch in this case. This might be good for applications like sleeve patches or different things that maybe they don't want the bulky edge to it. This might be a good fit. Okay, and then in terms of backings. So backings, we've got a few different backings. So we have our plastic backing. That's just going to be your plastic paper backing that you would use if you're going to sew down your patches. Because each of these backings do have incremental costs, you will see those costs in the price list that I am handing out now. So this should show up in your chat. In that price list is going to be a column for all the different backing options. So you'll see plastic is included. The most popular backing is going to be your heat press backing. You'll see the little bit of shininess on the back of the one in my video camera here. That's a meltable glue that would adhere using a heat press. You've got your sticker or peel and stick backing that would come on a paper carrier. And then you simply peel this back and it exposes you can hear it, the tacky peel and stick. This is popular for use really in temporary applications. So let's say you've got maybe a big event and the company is outfitted in expensive Holloway jackets and $120 jackets, and they don't have it in their budget for a new embroidered jacket for this particular event or product launch or something. A way to get a specific event-specific look for that event might be these patches. So you order 120 of these patches, pop them on your left chest. When you're done with the event, you tear it off. Your jacket stays in good shape. This will last, I think, a handful of washes. So if you didn't need to use it for a month-long promotion or something like that, you could totally do that as well. But that would be a good application for these. Also, your embroidery houses who sew these down. So if maybe you're not going to invest in the heat press and you want a sewn down patch on the front and you order 100 loose patches from Sonic Patch and 100 blank hats from Pacific Headwear and have them shipped to your decorator to sew down, they might like it if you added the sticker back to it because you can easily center it on the hat, stick it on the hat. It's not going anywhere. You can put it underneath the embroidery machines and let it do its thing without having to mess with the tape that I'm going to show you here when I do the heat press demo. So that could be an application too. And then Velcro backing. So Velcro backing is popular at retail, military applications. They're popular on hats and on bags. But with ours, the hook end is on the patch. It comes with an insert of the loop end, comes together like this. Also a popular backing. Okay, and then embroidery patches are, the most popular patches. Although I think woven is kind of sneaking up on them. This is going to be your traditional patch. It's a 50-piece minimum. Like I said, it is the most popular type, your traditional patch type. What they do is you can see in that Miami Vice patch there, and I guess I've got one here. It is embroidery sewn onto twill backing. So in this example, the royal blue there is your twill backing. Then you've got orange and another royal blue outline with embroidery thread, that satin stitch edge in orange. Miami Vice and Police is all embroidered into that twill. and then that cool multicolor design in the middle. So we can choose up to 12 different embroidery threads. So on one embroidered patch, you can have 12 different colors. You can also get pretty detailed with embroidery patches. So you can get text up to 1/8 inch tall, which is about as small as you want to go. We can go a little bit smaller on a couple different ones. And then they are priced by fill percentage. So if you open up the price list that I put in the chat a little bit ago, you can see that there is a different column per fill percentage. And so what that would be is, I've got some examples there, and I'm going to show some on camera here. So the bottom left there, that RD, or the one that I'm holding, would be about 50%. The black twill is going to be your twill backing. And then your white thread, and the one that I'm showing, and the RD down there, the yellow, it would be your thread. And so that's about 50%. The one in the middle there would be about 75%. And then the one on the far right, or the one that I'm holding here, is going to be your 100% embroidery thread. The cool thing about 100% embroidery, it offers obviously a really rich look. You can do a bunch of different colors, but if you wanted to color match, we've got, I think 24 or 48 different twill backing colors, but we've got hundreds of different thread colors. So it's a little bit easier to color match using thread than it would be to twill. So that would be an option for you. If you needed a specific PMS color that we didn't have the twill for, we can 100% embroidery match and go that route. Okay, my favorite patch, and the second most popular patch, I think, is going to be your woven patch. So that's also a 50-piece minimum. And what's great about woven is you can get just about as much detail as you could possibly want in a patch. So ultra fine detail, you can see in that Joshua tree example there, it's zoomed in on that Joshua tree, and you can see just how intricate you can get. It's got a light to no texture. So because that weave is just super, super tight, you rub your hand over it and it feels, you just got a little bit of roughness maybe, but it's pretty darn smooth. But this is just a great patch where you don't have to worry about how intricate the logo is. You can get it done with a woven patch. Looks great in a geometric shape with a woven border. This is my favorite type of patch on hats. What's great about this too is there's color matching available. So we can get, I think, just about every PMS color that you can think of. So don't have to worry about custom PMS and having to do 100% embroidery to achieve what you want. With this, we can do it with our woven. And then I guess that's about it with the woven patches. We can also get, this is best for the geometric shapes as well, unless you're going to do your laser cut edges. Okay, then we've got your rubber or silicone patches. This has come on strong here the last couple of years due to a couple of reasons. It's really popular at retail. So the golf market is super hot. A lot of golf hats here. I've got the Masters on in the other room. You'll see a lot of rope hats, and you'll see a lot of rubber patches. So super premium, retail-oriented look. And another reason for its popularity now is going to be because they are now heat pressable, where before they're a little bit of a pain in the butt to sew down. You can see in this example here, you can kind of see on the outside, you can kind of see where there's some embroidery thread. That's where we would put in a sew groove on the patch, and we could supply a sew file for $15 to your embroidery house, and they would put it up on the machine, use that sew file, and sew down the patch. Now that they have a heat press backing available, they're much more widely available because people are willing to do them for you, to press them. So a 50-piece minimum, super durable, and rugged. What's cool about this is there's rubber and silicone and TPU and PVC and a bunch of different names for essentially the same thing. I guess there are two different types of products. You might, a competitor of these patches have a TPU patch that is really rigid and plasticky, can't really bend it too much. kind of has a hard texture to it. But with these rubber silicone patches, they are your true, rubber silicone patch. So something that you would think of when you think about a rubber patch. When you walk into Dick's and touch and feel a Salty Crew hat or something like that, or you feel that rubber patch, it's going to be this type of patch. What's cool about this is you get 3D design elements. So it's a 3D molded patch. So on this Panda Express example, I'll try to tilt it this way. You can kind of see that panda head is a dimension, the body is a dimension, that red backing is a dimension, the white and text, and all of that are different dimensions. There's probably 4 different dimensions in this. So really cool that you can get kind of what you want, depending on the layers that you want to go. So super premium look, color matching available because it is a die cast mold that's put in with a rubber liquid that we can PMS color match to whatever colors you might need, and then again with that heat press backing that we'll demo a little bit later on our heat press. And then we've got 3D embroidery. Okay, so our 3D embroidery patches are your 100% embroidered patch, but with a raised 2mm foam. So you can hear this example. We've got your 100% embroidered dark brown backing with your puffed up 3D with 2mm foam, yellow fill. So this is really cool. It adds a pop of color and adds a pop of texture. It just makes it look rich. It's really popular for sports applications and things too. So if you've got a sports team and you want the flexibility of using blank hats and patches, this is a great option for you. This is another application that a year ago was not an option for heat pressing, but because of this new 360 IQ hat press with the top and bottom heat, things like this, real thick patches like this, are now a heat pressable option. Leather. Okay, leather is probably the second most popular patch out there, maybe third. We've got 2 different options: leather offshore and USA. Our USA leather is just a 24-piece minimum instead of 50 of the others, because it's done domestically. So it's done here domestically, 24-piece minimum, 2-week standard turn. So I said that everything else is 3 weeks for $20, 2 weeks for $50. With our USA leather, 2-week standard. So 2 weeks with your $20 freight, good to go. With our USA leather, it's laser engraved. So this is an example of our real natural leather in the natural color there at the bottom left. And you can see it's laser engraved. So not a ton of dimension on this one. If you feel rub your finger against it, you feel some light texture, and you can see the thickness of that. It's probably about an eighth inch thick. And then we've got our faux leather USA option. So here is going to be your faux leather. We've got a bunch of different colors in that in the bottom right: teal, royal, white, black, cork, and bamboo, some fun ones. You can see this is a little bit thinner, so about a 1/16 inch thick, I would say. And then you can see it's engraved, but maybe even a little bit lighter than the real leather. You don't even really feel there's much of a difference here. So these are your USA leather options. The real leather, your more traditional. Your faux leather, a little bit thinner, maybe a little bit easier to iron on or something if you didn't have the 360 IQ press, but you get the fun colors that you wouldn't get with real leather. And then we've got our offshore leather or overseas leather. So our overseas leather is a 50-piece minimum. So instead of 24 of the USA, it's up to 50. It's 3-week standard delivery. So no two week standard, 3-week standard. But it is a little bit of a nicer patch. So here you can see the patch. It's actually debossed instead of laser etched. So as the other one was laser etched and you felt that texture of it, this one is debossed. So it's stamped. So it's got that 3D look to it. I don't know if this is coming out on camera, but it's got this 3D look to it. The design won't fade on you. Feels great, looks great, just super clean. Looks more premium than USA. But a 50-piece minimum, 3-week turn, and no heat press option with this. So if you wanted to heat press them, if you got the machine, you want to press it, use your USA leather. If you've got the time and you want a more premium option and you're going to send it somewhere to have it sewn down, maybe look at that offshore leather. Okay, and then sublimated patches. And this is going to be the last traditional patch type. So we've got your sublimated patches, and you guys probably all know sublimation. With this, you can get your photorealistic imagery without having to worry about capturing all the detail and thread colors and PMS matching. Whatever art you supply us, we are likely going to print it exactly. We've got here an example where you can see all the different colors and complexity we can get with a design. Because this is printed onto transfer paper and then sublimated onto the patch, we can get your custom colors. We can get, it's the only method we can get a gradient with. So if that's a requirement, some logos have gradient in the text or something that it, corporations are determined to have, and this would be an example of that. So whenever there's a logo or something that requires a lot of detail, I first look at woven. And if that's not achievable, I look into sublimated, just because woven may be a little bit crisper because it's not printed. It does look a little bit crisper on a woven. Our sublimation is really quality. You can see this with this Sierra Nevada patch because it's done on raw materials and then a border put on. It is a super clean print, where some people stock these like square patches on a shelf and then spot print them to order. And you get a little bit of white around the border and doesn't come out as clean. All of ours is done, all raw materials offshore. So sell this with confidence for your detailed applications. Okay, and then lapel pins. So this is something that we're trying to make a focus on. I think a lot of people don't think about it, but your customers a lot of times are buying pins from somewhere, and sometimes it's like a pin specialist or someone that they don't know so can supply other things. So we've got 4 different options. We've got your soft enamel, which is the most popular option. It's going to have a 2-dimensional look here. So that back printed part is your flat part. Your elements and things are raised up, or the edges of it where it's kind of brass. It's going to be raised up 3D or 2D, I guess. And then it's enamel printed. So the back flat part is printed. The top brass is going to be raised up in solid color. That's going to be your most popular option. Hard enamel is going to be similar to the soft enamel, but it's a little bit of a higher quality enamel paste. That's then smooth, buffered down, polished down. So it's got a flat texture as opposed to your rigid texture of your soft enamel. Then you've got your printed pin, which would be great for super complex design. I did one with a globe, and it was gradient, and we couldn't get that with. We could get close with a soft enamel pin, but they wanted exactly how that logo was. Really, the only way to do it would be a printed pin. So it's a printed back with a epoxy finish over the top. And then you got your die cast. And your die cast is really used for maybe some complex designs, 3D designs. It's mostly used for military and some different applications that want a really specific die cast look. But with these, they're a 100-piece minimum. We've got multiple metal colors that we've got in the catalog that I supplied there in the chat. A lot of these are sold at retail. So we do offer retail packaging, something like this, a little header card with a plastic wrapper or different things. We can really source whatever you want in terms of a retail packaging, but it's a great point of purchase sale where they've got a bin at the front. And when they're checking out whatever they're checking out, they look down and they see the pins. It's a great add-on sale for a lot of retailers. And then we've got backing options there at the bottom. Butterfly clutch is your standard. Then we've got your rubber, deluxe, and magnet clutch as well. Okay, chenille. I think Sonic sent out an email blast today about chenille that you might have gotten. But our chenille is, I mean, the quality is second to none. And it really comes out in the chenille patches. We are known as having a super tight weave or sew in our chenille. So you can get really nice complex designs in this with your different embroidery inserts. You can see the eyes are embroidered, the different markings are embroidered. So super tight chenille, really premium materials. I've seen a lot of bad chenille out there. A giveaway is kind of the felt and the materials that is used. You can hear the quality in our felt, just nice, soft but firm felt. It's also a really high quality chain stitch between the two layers of felt, which is really nice. And then to get some of this really clean embroidery, we do first an embroidery underlay. So we do an embroidery underlay, then do the embroidery on top, makes it super clean, just super high quality with this. So I'm going to include in my sample packs to everyone a piece of embroidery, a piece of chenille. I think I'll send this one here. Because even if you don't sell them, they're mostly sold for your Letterman's jackets, your varsity jackets, awards and different things to schools or teams. But we're selling a lot more into the corporate space and like retail space. So a lot of these are being sold at retail, $400 retail jackets for branders and things. People are giving them away as trophies or Salesman of the Year awards or different yearly awards instead of a trophy or a plaque. They're giving them a jacket. The jackets look great. People get a kick out of them. Super premium. So if you need a sample of a jacket, let me know. Well, we can get you a Holloway jacket. We can get you a chenille patch, and you can go in there with the cool varsity jacket, war jacket story. Okay, and then all of these patches, except for the chenille patches, can be pressed with a Hotronix 360 IQ hat press. So what's special about this hat press is it's got heat coming from both the top here, so that's a heating element up here, and then the bottom. So this is the heating element down here. Then you've got your control board here, and this keeps popping up whenever I try to show you. But you need heat from the top and the bottom. If traditional hat presses only had heat from the top, and when you got these more complex patches here, all these different patch types that were different various thicknesses, you would need to get that top platen just way too hot in order to melt that glue. And in making it way too hot, you would scorch the patch, you would scorch the hat, and it didn't work. And so what Hotronix did is come out with a 360 IQ hat press with both the top and the bottom heat. So that bottom heat really works to melt that glue backing. The top heat comes down and just really presses that patch on and gets it to adhere best. And they work great. Even your best decorating houses out there have at least 1, 2, 3, 4 of these things going. So it's not just people who don't want to embroider or don't want to sew down. You've got people who are doing lots and lots of t-shirts, lots and lots of embroidery who have these in their shop. It's a legitimate piece of equipment that is rather affordable. It can sit on I've got it on my table here. I've got a small little footprint here. It can sit underneath your desk when you don't want it, in your garage off to the side. Super small footprint. It gives you really increased flexibility to be able to provide your customers service that they're not getting elsewhere. So, I know you don't want to be doing onesie Tuesdays, but if they had a 200 hat program, but they wanted to order it 3, 6, 9, 12 at a time, you can't really do that direct to factory. So you bring in your 200 patches, you bring in your 200 hats, and you do a fulfillment program for them in order to take care of your customers' needs. but also it's a way to make some money. You can earn better margins doing this stuff yourself than you can a lot of times going direct to factory. So, for example, for a 50-piece woven patch order direct to a headwear company, you would be paying about $250 more for that patch, and you're paying for the labor for that patch to be sewn onto the hat with your headwear factory direct. You'd be paying about $250 more than you would be if you bought loose patches from Sonic Patch. So you'd be making an extra $2.50 on a minimum order of 50 per hat. So within about 750 hats, this machine has essentially paid for itself. So it really puts, for under $2,000, it puts yourself in a whole other business that maybe you want to be in, maybe you don't want to be in. But it's something that I think makes you a little bit different. And it's something that's been in demand, that you all of a sudden takes the flexibility and away from, you know, maybe third party onto you. So I think it's a great investment. And with that being said, I'm going to try to demo this thing out. So I've got another camera here set up, and we're going to give this a whirl. So first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first make a new poll available, just asking if you've ever applied patches before. So let me know if you've sewn on patches, heat pressed patches, or nope, never applied patches before. I'm just curious. And then I'm going to enable this Hotronix 360 IQ hat press flyer. So there's a flyer outlining a lot of the stuff that I just mentioned that you can print out or save and keep on your desk and kick around whether you want to do. Before I forget, the list price is $18.50. Sonic Patch does offer some perks that I can't put in writing and things. So if you're interested, please give me a call or let me know, and I'll give you a call, and I can talk through the different programs that we have to incentivize that purchase. But we do have some different things that I can't put on this slide. So with that being said, I am going to switch cameras here. Go. And I'm going to make this bigger. All right, I think we are good. Okay, so we've got here our 360 IQ hat press. You've got the top arm here that comes down and presses the hat. You've got your top platen that's got heat going. You've got your bottom platen that's all heated up. I plugged this in about when the call started, and within about 15 minutes, I heard this thing beep. So it takes about 15 minutes for it to warm up. You can see how small this thing is. Not real big at all. And this is just a normal size desk that we've got here. So what my setup looks like, I've got some 104Cs here from Pacific Headwear. I've got a rubber patch here from, that we talked about. I've got some thermofilm tape, I think it's called. I found this on Amazon, a bunch of rolls that come like this, and a dispenser. I'm not sure if your press comes with this. I'll have to double check, but I think I might have gotten this on Amazon, just some different foams of various thicknesses. So you'll see on Sonic Patch, if you go on their website, they've got heat press instructions for each of these, of each of the different types of patches. And a lot of times they've got different foam thicknesses that they would like you to put on top of the patch. What that does is it helps, when you have a 3D patch like this, they want to make sure that that patch lays down super flat, and you might need a little bit of a thicker foam to adhere that patch. With this one, I'm going to use our 1/8 inch thick foam pad. So I'm going to throw these other ones off to the side. I'm going to move this camera down so I can show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to take a hat. Okay, it's a 104C from Pacific Headwear. I'm going to open it up. I am going to take out your plastic, your paper stay. Toss that. I'm going to fold down that sweatband. So you want to fold this down so it's got a nice, clean, direct fit onto the bottom platen. So I'm going to fold that down. Then I'm going to whip this thing around. I've got my patch. I've got my tape. So I'm going to take the tape, take off a nice big roll. This is going to be a little bit tricky. Sometimes I got some help when I do this. So I'm going to stick the tape onto the patch. Going to put the hat in front of me. Tape down this patch, and what this does just allows you to center this patch the best you can onto the hat and get it to stay while you put it on the press. I'm going to put the hat on the press. I'm going to put this up here. There we go. Then there's this little mechanism that tightens the hat onto the press. And then I'm going to put our foam pad on top of that. Then this is set up for 280 on the bottom, 320 at the top for 30 seconds. I'm going to push this down. And it's going to magnetically stay shut. You can see the countdown. You probably can't see, but it's counting down now to 20, 19. And what's great about this this display board on top is you can set up all the different temperatures, dwell times for all the different patches, or even heat transfer vinyl that you might use in the future. So within a couple of different clicks, you can switch from one application to another. So I'm going to rip off the pad. I'm going to take the stay down, and here we go. You can see this patch is really well adhered to our hat. We've got a hat with this great Panda Express Chinese kitchen patch on the front. So I'm going to let this sit for a second. I will take this film off, and I will show you that we have a perfectly adhered patch. So you can see there's no, it's perfectly adhered. It's not coming up anywhere. We like to tell people to let this cure for about 24 hours. If you start picking at it now, the glue is not quite set yet, but let it sit for 24 hours. We say really within a few minutes, it's good to go, ready for you to pack up and set aside for someone to pick up later that day. So let me switch this back here to me. All right, there we go. So that is all. Oh, cool. Yeah, Mike. I was going to ask you if it got delivered. Yeah, we just Mike just got one delivered today. I'm excited to hear how that's going to turn out for you. Doug, you say the blue painter's tape can be used. Excess of 400 degrees. That is a great call out. Thank you. I did not know that. I would love to try that. I've got tons of that at home, and that's a good alternative method. And then Laura, how does the heat press adhesive on Hotronix patches compare to Stahl's adhesive? I don't know how they compare exactly. I do know I have had some Stahl's patches, some Stahl's patches in the past before, and I used their instructions, and it worked just fine. So I would adhere to whatever Stahl's patch instructions are, all their time settings and everything. And then for Stahl's patches and Sonic for Sonic patches, I'm not sure if they differ, but they might. Again, you can access me that information at sonicpatch.com. Okay, and with that being said, I think I covered everything. I'm looking to see if there's any other documents or anything I didn't enable. No, I think we're good to go. So 45 minutes, not too bad. Hopefully I didn't take up too much of your day. I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Again, this is the first one of these that we have done. I hope to do these going forward, maybe once a month, every 2 weeks. We'll see how you guys like them. But if you guys have any more recommendations of different products and things that you want us to do a webinar on, please let us know. Be careful of the high temp tape on Amazon. I've had a, okay, well, that's good suggestion there, Doug. But with that being said, I appreciate everyone hopping on. I saw a lot of you guys requested your sample packs already, and that's great. If you didn't already, 13west.com/promotions, and fill that out. We'll send you a new sample kit. And then sign up for our dealer dashboard, where we've got pricing, programs, videos like this, a bunch of different stuff. Delbert's got a new 360 IQ. Yeah, it's a good point. So I'm lucky enough to have a bunch of these samples on hand and can do some trial and error with the hat press. But if you're interested in getting a hat press, let us know, or Delbert, we'll take care of you. We'll send you, a dozen or 6 samples. We got Pacific headwear samples we can send you, and some patch samples that you guys can try some different temp and dwell time settings to make sure you dial in that machine. So, okay, well, if that's it, Brendan, you're welcome. Thank you for hopping on. I appreciate everyone's time today. You will get a recording of this shortly after the call that you can share out to maybe your other fellow sales reps or whatever. And with that being said, keep an eye out for whatever new webinar that we do here in the next few weeks. So thank you again for everybody's time, and have a great day.